The text is a technical concept, this I want to say. It is, we have not to imagine a text as a text like it is written here on this paper. It is just a philosophical notion to define reality, and it's just another one. And this way to define reality has consequences. It allows to Derrida to describe the construction of meaning through a process of differentiation of significance. That's the point with Derrida in technical sense. But I wanted you to ask another question. You said, because you talked about this Venice experience, you said one time, I think, architecture can provide experience that literature and film cannot. Could you tell us something more about this? Yeah, is it related to this, what you said before, or is it just a statement about architecture?
Let me go back. I want to go back to the text because I wanted to give you my third Derridian anecdote. We published a book together called Choral Works. It was a play on Cora. It was a play on working together. It was a play on the L shape, which is a form that I've used as a signature form in my architecture. And we decided to do a book together. Unbeknownst to Jacques, I had an idea, and a very expensive idea, $10,000 idea, to start from the middle of the book and punch holes, the trace of the project in the front, and the trace of or one level of the project in the front, and another set of holes in the back, the trace of, so there would be two traces, which are Derridian notions. And we punched holes through the text, and we put the pieces of paper, which were thousands, in a bag, and we sealed the bag and the book together. And we thought this would be a wonderful, we then were at Cooper Union where we had a large audience to bring the book out, and Jacques saw this book. And he was a little perturbed at the beginning. He didn't know what was in store for him because he saw this glassine bag with a book inside and all these bits of paper. So he said, well, what are this? We said, well, open up the book. So he opened the book and he saw the holes in the text. He said, oh my God, look what you've done to my text. And I said, what do you mean? Well, how are people going to read it? And I said, Jacques, that's the whole point. They're not supposed to read it. And he said, look, you've got to get me an uncut copy so I can have the literal text, all right? So there was, as far as I was concerned, Derrida showing his great humanity and his great problematic with the whole idea of deconstructing a text, because we literally deconstructed his text so that, and we gave him the bits. He could have pasted the bits back together if he wanted to. It's like a giant Sudoku. But to me, and what's amazing is we still get letters from people in Honduras or Kazakhstan saying, I've got an imperfect copy of this book. There are holes in my book. Could you get me one without the holes? So the valuable ones are the ones without the holes, because there's only a limited number of the ones. If you have one, I'll buy one from you for any price without holes, because they're very rare. You can't get them on eBay or Abe Books or anything like that. So that's number one, to try and settle the text. I got to get you off the text thing, because there's no question that if, in fact, we say that if, in fact, the Carlo Rinaldi Church has a discourse of two pieces of facture that don't fit together, and that if you can experience, you can't see that in the plan, because the plan goes together. But when you're in the space itself, if you can feel that tension, that incompleteness, because what we're always looking to do in space and time is complete narrative, wholeness, etc. And that comes out of the metaphysical desire of the part to the whole, which started in the late 14th, early 15th century. And we understand that metaphysic. But if we can go into a church where, in fact, the two parts, the apse and the nave, don't go together conceptually and spatially, that's something you can't do you can jump cut a movie. Yes, that's for sure. And Godard showed how you could do that. You can make a movie not what it seems to be, like Michael Haneke's Funny Games, where you don't see anything, you only hear the problems, or in The White Ribbon. Yes, you can do kinds of things in film like that, but you can also do things like film and literature in architecture, is what I'm saying. So that those experiences are similar tropes, but different experience. You experience them differently. And I think, for example, when Haneke said to me that his films are not visual, they're oral, and I understood exactly what he meant. And I said, our Holocaust Memorial is not visual, it's oral, because when you walk into the pillars, there's a silence that takes over, the silence that you never experience in the city, which was unintended, but something that became very important to the people who were walking in. You can imagine what the space is like, but when you're there and you hear the space differently, that's an experience that's, I think, very important. And so that's something that architecture can do.